You mentioned an argument about this cumulative effect or this exponential effect of meritocracy. If there's basically, if we start from zero, if we just do this thought experiment, we start from zero, everybody has the same resources. By the end of the first generation, that equality is already gone. By the end of the second generation, that equality is even more unevenly distributed. So how would you fix that other than constantly resetting things to zero? But you would have to do it. Would you reset it to zero within a month? Would you reset it to zero every 20 years, every 50 years? You reset everybody to zero. You forgive all the debts in order to create equity. Equity can't be stabilized unless you enforce it constantly, because people are always going to be maximizing their resources, or, you know,
some people are going to be maximizing their resources.
Yeah.
Even if everybody started off on the same playing field, it is inevitable that some people will get ahead and some people will fall behind. Yeah. That's just the case.
Well, yeah, but then the if you run that simulation over and over and over again, eventually you have a very high and a very low distribution. So there has to be some sort of redistribution so that the people who are born into poverty have a leg up to some degree, right? Or else you're just going to have this infinitely unfair distribution where you have like the super 1% and then a bunch of people below them. So there is some idea about redistribution that spreads the wealth around through, I guess, taxes or through charities or something like that. But I guess the argument would be whether it's voluntary or not, or teaching people having a culture of charity would be one way of doing that, or you have a government that enforces, or some other sort of institution that eradicates disparity completely because it distrusts any inequality whatsoever.
Yeah. So you know what the so the argument is a T0 if everybody's equal. T1 there will be some people who are higher and then some people who are lower, and then T2 you run that simulation again. Yeah. Those people who are higher, some will go even higher, and some will go even lower. The solution to that, there's a couple assumptions with that game, but the solution to that is actually meritocracy, because what happens is the reason why people with privilege continue to progress, or continue to get even richer multi-generationally, is usually as a result of things that are not meritocratic, not things that are meritocratic. For example, rent seeking. Rent seeking is a non-meritocratic principle. It's basically by virtue of you owning this, you deserve to extract rent from anybody who uses it. And, you know, over a long period of time, we see that enables people to keep wealth even when they didn't work for it or didn't deserve it. In Europe, this is very much the case. The richest 300 families in Europe, I think half of them also, or many of them, a significant majority of them, were also the richest families 500 years ago. And in America, it's different, because the richest families in America today, you know, just even 2 or 3 generations ago, were nobodies at all, or they were immigrants. You know, Rockefeller came from nothing. Carnegie came from nothing. You know, Bill Gates came from a upper middle class family. But in America, we seem to have this principle that rails against this, which is a largely meritocratic principle, which is the American dream, which is, hey, you know, if you can come here and you can make it in this country. And that is, I think that's a beautiful thing that we need to preserve and cherish.